Yes, students, today we are going to see it, the breakthrough innovation, how it could be useful for the industry to make their availability in the market. This mostly the conventional product development where the companies will look for satisfying the customer to the extent what is being demanded, what is being expressed by him as a need, and making it to happen through the products what they are delivering. If you want to name those type of products and what is the life cycle of those products to be available with the customers, it could be finite. You may not expect these products will be surviving for long time, because day by day the customers needs are revising, are getting modified, are changing based on their behavior and their awareness about the technology around them. So if you want to create a breakthrough products, not only addressing the needs the customers what they expressed, but we require to see more than that, and which are not being realized by the customers and not even thought by the customers. That is a place where we can make out the breakthrough innovations in bringing the products into the market. To make you to get little more clarified on how the breakthrough innovation could be explained in analogy way, you could see driving the vehicle in a very regulated traffic is not a big deal. But when you are coming across a curve where you are having like a very big container to be negotiating the curve, there the challenge comes across. So, and if you are not aware of that particular turning is going to be there in front of you, then the challenge is going to be much more bigger. So that particular thing, if you are able to keep in mind and again trying to come out with some brainstorming to come with the newer technologies, that is something what we call it as a breakthrough innovation. The breakthrough innovations, when you wanted to look at the initial phase of this particular development, could be very chaotic. You may not be having clarity on what you wanted to achieve. Initial phase is going to be totally fuzzy. You have to formulate the design criteria, and thereafter you need to generate lot more ideas and convert them into the concepts. Thereafter scrutinizing them by making that to happen as a prototypes and shortlisting them to the minimal number, and where you can make that to be taken a shape of the product. So that is a path which could be followed in the breakthrough innovation. In a traditional innovation or scientific methods, what we followed is, it is a systematic approach. You will be doing second activity after completion of the first activity. So asking the question, doing some background research and constructing the hypothesis around it, and test with an experiment, thereafter analyzing the results and drawing the conclusion. Once if the conclusion is felt it is a true, then report the results. If you felt like the hypothesis what you have chosen and the results what you have obtained are partially true or false, then again you require to rethink and redo the activity by making out as a feedback mechanism. This was the traditional conventional approach. So what is the best approach that we could consider it as? Can we say listening to the customer? That means whether the customers are knowing what they want, listening to the customer feedback, or making the product to be a customer centric or technology centric. These are all the questions which arises for every product development team if they wanted to make a product with a breakthrough innovation, where still we are not getting the proper model which could be followed by the people for the people. Okay, in this scenario, there is another the tendency which has come across, and with the proper the comparisons and computations, where if you try to do with incremental modifications, right, when you come across after 5 years, if you find the improvement what is observed either in a form of your ROI or the form of making the product to be acceptable by the customer, okay, and if that particular percentage is around less than 10%, that means it is something called as an incremental innovation. If this particular value is more than 60 to 70, then we can call it as a breakthrough innovation. Within 5 years, the shift what has been happened from what is thought about it and what is observed by after 5 years. If the improvement is being witnessed by around 70 to 80% or more than that, then we could call it as a breakthrough innovation. If it is less than 10%, we can call it as an incremental innovation. Okay, so when you want to say what type of innovation is more appropriate for the industries to look for, there is one the particular strategy is there with the 2080 rule. That means if you want the industry to survive for shorter time period, and also you wanted to survive for today, then definitely you require to go for 80% of incremental innovation and 20% of breakthrough innovation. Suppose if you want to be there even after 5 years in marketplace with a good competitive position, then you need to think about having in your innovation towards breakthrough for 80% and incremental 20%. This is something which is called as a 20/80 rule. And also, when you wanted to have an innovation, you require to have a culture of that particular innovation to be available within the firm, within the organization, which will enhance the people who are working in that organization to participate in that particular innovation practices. So here, one case study which was done by the Creative Problem Solving Group, where the GE Power Generation has taken as a particular industry, wanted to verify where they are in comparison with the other industries who are performing in a similar lines, who have been named as innovative organizations, who have been named as stagnant organizations. Those have been taken across 9 parameters as the culture values. Those culture values have been compared across this innovative organizations, stagnant organization, and the organization where they are belonging, the person who was asked to do the survey. So there they categorize the culture that includes challenge and involvement, freedom, trust and openness, idea time, playfulness and fun, absence of conflict, idea support, debate, risk taking. How they identified them as a parameters means the team members who are working in an organization need to be connected and stretched by their work and take pride in it. That is something about challenge and involvement. Coming to the freedom, where team members feel empowered to try new approaches to their work. Trust and openness, where team members feel safe sharing their ideas and working with other members. And idea time, where team members have time to think about and develop new ideas. Playfulness and humor, where team members can see their workplace as easygoing, fun, and relaxed. Here, the thing what we require to take it as an absence of conflict. Here, this diagram has been made as a conflict, which is a negative factor, where it needs to be minimal. Team members experience personal tension and interpersonal warfare at work. And idea support, team members encourage one another's ideas. Debate, encouraging environment by team members to constructively discuss and challenge one another's ideas and approaches. And risk taking, team members can make decisions and take action in the face of uncertainty. So these are the 9 parameters which were taken as the measures of this culture to be deployed in an organization, and they found that this particular GE Power Generation, how it is performing across each parameter with respect to 10 innovative organizations and with respect to 5 stagnant organizations. There, the very few locations where, for example, the playfulness and humor, where this green color line, which has got lesser points than the 10 innovative organizations, right? And it is still doing better than the 5 stagnant organizations. Okay, this is the place where it requires some improvement need to be checked in to say it also should get into top 10 innovative organizations. Okay, that means the team members see their workplace as easygoing, fun, and relaxed, where the top 10 innovative organizations they're having playfulness and humor in their workplace, where the GE power generation need to improve in this particular culture to get deployed. Okay, so that way it makes the sense for the people to draw this type of radar charts and to understand in a company where they are working to cross check or benchmark in which particular portfolio, in which particular parameter they are lagging, and they can take a necessary steps to improve that particular parameter value so that they will be traveling or they will be marching towards to the top positions. So this design thinking, which is of 5 stages, where empathize is the first stage of design thinking, where learn about the audience for whom you are designing, either by observation or by interviewing who is my user and what matters to this person. So this is a stage which takes care about empathizing the customer. Coming to the next stage is called define. Create a point of view that is based on user needs and insights. What are their needs? That particular thing you are going to make out as a POV. Then coming to the third stage, which is called as an ideation. Based on this particular POVs, what is been identified from the customers' feedback and customers' needs, you are going to make out like a brainstorming and come up with as many solutions as possible, which are going to be creative, and wild ideas also encouraged. Coming to the fourth stage is called prototype. Whatever the ideas have been encouraged and the crazy ideas have been accepted, and during the ideation are getting scrutinized by cross-checking and verifying in which way these are feasible and how is workable. Based on that, how can I show my idea? A prototype is just a rough draft. Then the last stage, which we call it as a test phase in design thinking, where sharing your prototype with original user and getting the feedback from him. It is like what worked, what didn't, as the customer's feedback on our developed prototype. That is called testing. So there, when you just look at this particular design thinking outcome, how you could connect this one with your stage gate process. Okay, after making out the test with the customer, the product concept which has been selected and making as an embodiment design, there it enters into this stage gate process. As after making out this particular the prototype validations and detailed design, then it gets into the stage gate verification process and undergoes how do you add the skin to that particular concept, how do you make it as embodiment design, thereafter how do you go through about its detailing, then system level design, and then it will be taken for production ramp up, and thereafter launching and considering about the production planning and feedback. In order to make out the breakthrough innovation in your product development, in a previous scenario, it was mentioned as what actually the customer is in need, either it could be a product or service, and what pains he is facing and what gains he is able to benefit. That particular things we used to gather the input from the customer, and we are able to put it across in the form of canvas. When you come to this refined and looking in a breakthrough innovation way, it is going to be appended or added with a interface which could be with gain creators, pain relievers. The thing which makes the comfort for the customer to enjoy beyond what is expected as a pain or gain, and you are able to provide certain additional privileges to him, the way how he feels the pain what was previously experienced by him getting relieved, at the same time the gain what he got previously getting enhanced. So what the way you are going to provide that particular the additional delta or which is going to be added in the product makes the customer to feel more delighted. Okay, so then here again we'll come back with the term called as a creativity. the ability to generate or recognize ideas, alternatives, or possibilities that may be useful in solving problems. So creativity is an ability. It could be with everyone. If they are using in a very constructive way, everyone is a creative person. Okay. So thing is the ability to generate or recognize ideas or alternatives or any possibilities that may be useful in solving our problems. So once if you are able to identify, so if you want to identify, first you need to have a knowledge base with you, and you need to know awareness about what are the techniques are available. If all this particular information is available with you inherently, then you will try to pick up which will be suitable for solving what problem. Either it could, or you can give like a different alternative solutions to that. So creativity is not something you think about, it is something you do. Once if your imagination is going to be there, thereafter it enters into the creativity, and thereafter you can make that to be as an innovation. This creativity is there from our childhood. Even the kids, how they able to inquire on what they wanted to know, and dismantle or try to find out the roots of that particular toy, or whatever the play item which has been available in their hand. Okay, that particular creativity was there from birth, but where it is gone now, why people are not able to think creatively, it's only because of our creativity has been totally submerged in the ocean of conformity. People are there behind you based on this particular 20th century academic regulations. Our entire focus has gone on analytical thinking, logical thinking, not on creative thinking. So because of that, for every step what we wanted to do, there is a question like, what is the conformity? How can I accept it? Is it within the tolerable limits? What guidelines that you have followed? What systematic approach you have identified or chosen? So these particular things which are making out to think beyond the boundaries, beyond the walls. So that is a way where the creativity slowly from the childhood to adulthood, it has been submerged. So we can recall that, right, with the process. So let us see. There are two things which have been shown here. One is about question mark plus question mark plus question mark, which is equal to 190. What we observed here, if three unknown situations are given and you are expected to achieve something. Okay, so this is something what we could call it as, how do we make out hard questions? How do you make out the problem to be not clear, not defined, well defined, is ambiguous, messy, beginning. Same thing, if you have been provided with 55 plus 45 plus 90, which is becoming as 190, you can add it and you can just make it out. This is a very simple thing which has been very systematic way, which has been provided to you as a question, what you can answer very simple manner. Okay, if the question is given with the question marks to the left side and again like expected to arrive to the answer with some value what is expected, then that is something what we call it as a synthesis, analysis, synthesis. So creating the question, that is the biggest challenge rather than giving answer. Okay, so here you could understand the creating the question 55 plus 45 plus 90 is very easy for the people to answer it, very simple way. But if I am creating the question like the second method, where it will be very tough for the person to answer it, because there will be a multiple alternative solutions for that. So one of the saying what Albert Einstein has mentioned, if I had only 1 hour to save the world, I would spend 55 minutes defining the problem and 5 minutes finding the solution. So defining the problem is the biggest challenge to make the defined solution to that. Okay, knowledge is having the right answer, but intelligence is asking the right question. Okay, so when you'd like to make your path to be in breakthrough innovation, you need to doubt assumptions, you need to doubt perceptions, and you need to doubt mental models, and you need to doubt your company, you need to doubt your competitors, whatever the regulations, whatever the forms, whatever the procedures which have been laid out by them, whatever the takeaways mentioned by them, all those things to be questioned, then you'll be able to break those particular assumptions, which is called as assumption busting. That works by deliberately seeking and addressing the previously unquestioned assumptions. That is also, we will be naming it as a out of box thinking. Okay, that is the first starting point of your new idea to generate. Okay, with this, I could summarize the topic what we have taken today is about the breakthrough innovation, and what is breakthrough innovation and what is incremental innovation, how these two are differentiated, where what type of innovation needs to be adopted by the industries, and what is meant by 2080 rule, and thereafter what steps that we require to take into consideration if you want to make out a breakthrough innovation, and also how the culture needs to be developed within the industry or organization to bring out the innovation as a day-by-day activity. So with this particular thing, we'll close this session, and we'll see about design thinking in next class.